Hello and welcome everyone back to yet another episode of Red Cape Sports. Bird Bouchard and the brother here, Mitch Bouchard. Mitch is in the studio. I'm at home in the studio. But regardless, we have a good one for you all today. And if you don't like hockey, you still want to definitely be staying tuned because Mitch and I are about to debate a topic that I think should have been brought up a lot sooner. And no, it's not Tom Wilson. It's not Nazem Kadri. It literally has to do with the best player in the world right now, Connor McDavid. So, Mitch, why don't you let everyone know who Connor McDavid is and why he had such a historic season?
Connor McJesus.
Yeah.
We should say. Let's just say this. He is the Mike Trout of hockey. He is quite possibly King Arthur McDavid. He is something that we may have never seen before on the ice, and certainly something or somebody that can break records, historical records. The guy's put up over 100 points. You're talking 2 points a game.
Basically, yeah. I mean, so also filling in the blanks there, a regular hockey season is 82 games, but this year, due to the pandemic, the NHL, so he put up, it was 100 and I want to say 105 points in 56 games, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Nearly 2 points a game, which is absolutely unheard of. We haven't really seen that since Mario Lemieux type of games, so absolutely ridiculous.
And this guy is basically not only a guy that can shoot the puck and score, but I mean, you're talking about somebody who can skate like Pavel Bure, that can shoot and pass like Gretzky in Lemieux. He is amazing in doing that in modern hockey. I shouldn't have sold that card that I had a long time ago. So right. I definitely made a mistake. However, what we're going to discuss is basically, would he have been able to do this had he been playing all the other teams in the NHL, or is it because he's in an easy division? I like to think that because of his age, because of the improvements, I mean, look at the goals that he's been scoring, look at the passes he's been making. I like to think that regardless, he probably could have got almost the same amount of points. I think you think a little bit different, right?
Yeah, so again, this is absolutely nothing to take away from what Connor McDavid was able to accomplish this season. But I think had he played in a regular season, so obviously not 82 games, I think if he played 82 games, he would have probably eclipsed 130 points. But what I'm getting at here is I believe Connor McDavid, had he played the same amount of games, but a regular style season where he's not playing the bottom feeders 8 times, and I will get into that, I believe Connor McDavid would have put up around 75 to 85 points. Mind you, 75 to 85 points in a 56-game season is absolutely ridiculous. It's amazing. I just believe, and I will jump into these reasons right now, might as well. So first and foremost, right, he's playing the same 7 teams, all the Canadian teams, around 7 to 8 times each, right? And let me start off with this, Mitch. Ottawa Senators, 5th worst goals against average, the 5th most goals allowed this season, and the 11th worst penalty kill. Okay, so that's just one team. The Senators were bad. Vancouver Canucks, 6th worst goal against average, the 6th most goals allowed. Okay, Montreal Canadiens. That's a team that made the playoffs, right? Well, they had the 14th most goals against, not too shabby, middle packed, but they also had the 9th worst penalty kill. So far, Mitch, I have mentioned, 3 teams who are basically bottom feeders. And then, of course, another team also in the playoffs here, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they had the 8th worst penalty kill. So you're playing all these teams 7 to 8 times. And I wanted to mention the penalty kill. That's really important because Connor McDavid had the most power play points this season with 37. Okay, 37 power play points, which is crazy. Second was Leon Draisaitl, his teammate, so naturally, but third place was an entire 12 points behind. So Connor McDavid really racked up the points on the power play, and might I add, the third place guy was Nathan MacKinnon. And had Connor McDavid never scored the entire year, he would have still put up more points than Nathan MacKinnon. And that, again, that, however you view it, you can say, well, Connor McDavid's so good that he has these points. All I'm saying is, I think if you play teams such as Vegas on a nightly basis, a shutdown team, a team like the Islanders, who like to play a very defensive game, I think McDavid still puts up points, but rather than the 4-point nights, I think he's got a 2-point night.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty interesting. The only thing I'm going to say, because I guess I'm going to be playing devil's advocate to it.
Sure.
I agree that that is a possibility, but I think it's also, there's also a really good chance, because we ultimately don't know. The one way we can know is next year if things open up. I think just because of what I believe, because it's ultimately going to be what you believe, what you think, what will happen. But I like to think that when we head into next year, I think he's going to be doing the same thing, if not close, and that will put that question to rest. So we don't know until next year, and if they kind of stretch who they're playing. Now, the reasons I say that is because if you look at his age, he is at that mark where I don't even think he's 25 yet. Isn't he 24? Nope. I think he's legit in his prime and getting even better, it looks like. He's doing well, avoiding the injuries. And not only that, but you have Draisaitl, other players that he's getting used to playing with. And I understand what you mean. He's playing the same teams, maybe even weaker teams defensively. However, just the way he's playing, I actually think he's just that good. I think he's at the point where even if he was playing every NHL team, I think he would still have at least like 90 points. That's how I feel. I think he is that good because if you look at Matthews, why is it that he's getting so many goals? Because he's that good. I think we're looking at Gretzky and Lemieux in the modern game. That's the best way to put it, other than the fact that they don't exactly shoot the same handed. But that's what I like to say. I really think that he is that good. He is improving. He is in his prime. And even if he was playing other teams, maybe the reason that Ottawa's not so good is because they're playing McDavid. And that's where it kind of goes back and forth. So I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think it's just that he's playing the same teams. I think that's part of it. But I think that only maybe accounts for 10% of what he's doing. I think he's just that good. I think he's that good.
See, and like for me, it's really interesting that you also mentioned Austin Matthews, probably the second best player in the league this season, who also put up the most goals, right? As great as Austin Matthews is too, and again, nothing to take away from him, but he's also playing in the same division, right? So you have two guys who absolutely dominated the division, two superstars, obviously, no doubt. And, I'm just trying to make an argument that perhaps the reason why they both had so much success was because they were beating up on teams in a weaker division. And that's just the point I wanted to make. Nothing to take away from these two guys. If I had the money, I'd go out and buy their cards. They're two of the best players in the league.
I can't even afford them anymore.
Continue.
I can't even buy them anymore. They're so expensive.
Right. So again, guys, and I just want to put this out for everyone listening. This isn't me, trying to make up some kind of conspiracy. It's just an interesting argument, I think. Right. Yeah. Obviously, they're amazing, but would have they been this amazing had they were playing more defensive teams and more physical teams, perhaps on a nightly basis?
Yeah. And also, guys, put down in the comments below. Do you agree that it's because of the division he's in, the fact that he's not playing all these other American teams, etc.? Or is the fact that McDavid's doing so well is because he's actually that good?
Because he's just that good.
Doing that against any team. I like to think that he's just that good. However, I think it's definitely, I agree with Bird in the sense that it's given him an edge. I just don't think it's giving him the whole lift off. I think he's just improving and he's legit that good. and he could be doing similar things if things were different.
Yeah. And then the last thing I will say about that, and I hate to change sports. Mike DiStefano, the hockey card guru, is absolutely going to nail me for this one. However, as well as I do, baseball, batter versus pitcher. The more times you see a pitcher, the more success you're likely going to have coming down the road, right? That's why pitchers don't go the entire game. It just doesn't work out too well. So perhaps Connor McDavid has a goalie's number or has a defense's number or even a team's number, so to speak. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, very interesting. It's a very complex debate because also when you're playing hockey and you think about the speed that they're playing at, you almost, I don't know, it's just weird to me because I don't have the vision that McDavid had. I don't have 10% of his vision. That's a legit thing, right? He's an NHL player. But I do understand baseball where, I've noticed things as a pitcher where, you could throw certain pitches. I know if a guy's struggling with my curveball, I'll throw more curves. I might even throw it at different speeds. So you're right. That could be playing an effect. However, I don't know. There's just something about McDavid. He's just, I don't know. I just think he has more powers than Superman. So he's unbelievable. He's legit that good. And I'm blown away with what he's been able to do specifically.
All right, guys. So that's going to do it for this episode. I know that it's not too card related, but either way, we just wanted to get the minds going, brain flow circulating. But let us know down below in the comments, how many points would Connor McDavid put up in a 56-game season if he had a regular season schedule?
This is what we should do, actually. First of all, is he a buy or not?
Oh, absolutely. Dude.
Okay, I agree. I think he's an ultimate buy. If you can, buy his highest end cards because, it's just going to separate yourself from the other ones. The other question is, how many points do you think he will get next year? I'm going to start off my prediction. Say they play 82 games. I see him getting, in this is just a bold prediction. Maybe we could go back to this video. If he plays 80 games next year, say takes a couple games off, I see him getting 162 points.
Jeez!
I know it seems high, but that's how I feel. I'm not even kidding. If he gets if McDavid gets 162 points, are you going to buy me dinner?
Absolutely. I don't even think he was on pace for that this year. I wanted to say 118. I think if he puts up 118 points in an 82-game season, that's ridiculous. Yeah. And, there's a reason why only a handful of guys put up 100 points a year. It's just really, really hard to do. I do believe McDavid will do it. I do believe Matthews will do it. And I do believe a few other guys will do it. But I'm going to go with 118.
Yeah, I'm going with a pretty high number. I think he's going to do...
You think he's going to get 2 points a game?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Maybe more.
He might. He might. I definitely wouldn't count him out.
I think he's that good. I think, when Moses, separated the water, that's what McDavid does. He separates the ice.
He definitely makes Morgan Rielly look pretty dang silly. So,
sure. Dude, I saw that live and I called you. I was like, that's disgusting. Anyways, that's all we have for you guys. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. We also have a Facebook group called @Red Cape Sports. There you can share posts and ask us questions about sports cards, collecting and investing, right?
Yeah, and Frank, Safu, if you're listening, we're going to pin your prediction. So leave your prediction down below. And
Frank,
we will pin
prediction.
We will pin it.
Mine's a little ridiculous, but we'll see when the time comes. Maybe I'll be right, like I have been right about Zion.